Hey everyone, welcome to the Rogers Center. This is the home of my beloved Toronto Blue Jays. Today's question came via Twitter, and they asked, in a group setting, how can you be a leader when you've been relegated to the position of follower? And I think inherent in that question is the idea that any role you're in where you're not in charge is somehow a lesser role. You've been relegated to it. Following is a different status than leading, but I don't think it's necessarily a lesser status. And sometimes effective following is an extraordinary act of leadership. Derek Sivers did a 3-minute TED Talk called How to Start a Movement, which is actually an amazing illustration of just how important being a positive follower can be. For this question, there seems to be this inherent idea that you cannot be a leader and a follower at the same time. They're mutually exclusive. And I think that we should stop thinking like that. If you think about how we've traditionally viewed what a leader is and what a follower is, you almost always see the followers going in the same direction as the leader. Both the leader and the followers are heading in the same direction. And I don't think that we should dismiss that idea because a shared vision is incredibly important. I do think, however, we should expand our understanding of what following can actually look like. I like to think of leading and following as if it's almost an atomic theory. So here's my weird theory of atomic leadership. Think of ourselves as atoms that are moving around the planet every day. And like a hydrogen atom or an oxygen atom, we are going to bounce into other atoms and we're going to interact. And those interactions can be 30 seconds in a grocery store, they can be an hour-long meeting, they can be a 15-year relationship or a career. But eventually, the interaction is going to be over and we're going to bounce off of each other after the interaction. I would argue that in those interactions, we can be both leaders and followers at the same time. Every time that you bounce someone off an interaction with you on a more positive trajectory than they came in on, I think that you have been a leader, and I think that you've created a follower. Every time you allow yourself to bounce off in a more positive trajectory as a result of being compassionate or empathetic or open-minded, and you move off an interaction in a better way, I think that you've been a follower in that moment. But what's interesting is if you think of it that way, it means that your followers are actually going a different direction than you are. You're bouncing in and heading off in different directions, but if you've changed that person's life for the better, you've actually created a follower that day. And you realize that our day is filled over and over and over again with moments of leadership and moments of followership, regardless of whether or not you're in charge of something or an entire group. And if you think about it, to keep the atomic theory idea going, we don't go through the world individually. Like maybe we're a hydrogen atom or an oxygen atom. But like them joining together to make H2O, we come together in teams, we come together in businesses, we come together in families, and we relate and we interact consistently together. And we do that. We create molecules of leadership as well. What's interesting is you recognize that not only is there the power to interact on an individual level, but when you come together, you actually create a whole new set of interactions that are possible. H2O can create all kinds of interactions that H or O on their own can't do. So I think that looking at following is recognizing that we're following all the time and we're leading all the time. And every interaction is an opportunity to do them simultaneously, and they're both tremendously important. I think it's important to ask yourself, all right, is leadership getting your way, or is leadership adding your piece? And I think that ultimately, if we keep seeing leadership as adding our piece to our best of our ability and creating every interaction that we can that's positive, we're going to find ourselves having the opportunity to be in charge of a lot more things as well. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. See you soon.